everyone, welcome back. It's Geekonomics. We are back. It's another week. It's another show. That was a quick intro I'm starting to do every time now. I'm trying to do it. Brian acting like he's frozen even though he's blinking, which doesn't help. He's really bad at what he's doing.
Oh, my screen froze now.
No, it did not. You're terrible at that. You were literally blinking the whole time. But anyways, we're back. Brian's back after a tough week. But
It's a tough
he's got
week.
some good news, which we'll talk about in just a bit. We have a guest we're going to have on later on, Danielle Bauman. Daniel Bauman. I'm going to get it right now so I don't mess it up when she comes on. She is a writer. She was a writer for a little show called This Is Us, which people might know from the television screens. Yeah, she's going to talk to us about the writer's strike and give us all the info and tell us what's the deal. So we'll talk about that and more.
Who are these people?
Who are these people? So with all that, Brian, what do we got to talk about first?
Well, in 2 weeks, Marcus.
2 weeks?
Less than 2 weeks now.
Less than 2 weeks.
East of the River Comic Book and Collectibles Show, June 25th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admissions Admissions only $1.
Yes.
Early birds at 9 a.m. $3 get you in the door early. The best time to go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It will be held at the American Legion Hall, 566 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, 06082. And it's right next to Dunkin' Donuts. Get yourself a coffee. Come on in. It's going to be a great time. The last show, it was packed.
Yeah.
And I want this show to be packed as well. And I think we will. I really feel in my bones that this is going to be a good show. We're kicking off the summer. This is like the kickoff because summer starts.
Bring Brian a birthday present because his birthday's a couple days before that.
Sure.
A birthday card.
Buy something from my table. That's a
birthday something from his table and give it back to him. Say happy birthday.
Yes. I'd like to make some money at this show. So yeah, that there you go. Buy some stickers. I'll have stickers. I'll have a bunch of new comics I'm putting together. I know this show is mostly I would say it's more comic focused. There are toys. There are people who bring some really cool stuff. The next show, which is in July, the Manchester show, that is very toy heavy. So I would say if you've never been to one of these, this is the perfect one to go to. It's $1 to get in, you have yourself a nice Sunday afternoon. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It is. It's a great time.
Matt Ryan's going to be on vacation, so he won't be there for that show. So I'll be roaming around, hanging out.
Aren't you going to be in Maine that weekend?
Oh no, New York that day before.
Oh.
So I'm gonna up here maybe randomly. So
wait, you'll be up here maybe randomly?
No, I'll appear there randomly. Not planning on getting there right for when the doors open, but I might stop in.
Oh, okay.
Hi, everybody.
I wasn't sure if you were working the door.
No. Scott said he's got it all taken care of. So.
Oh yeah, I got the new guy, and he's got a little table there set up.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, it's going to be a great show. This is the big one before the summer starts, and then the next one's not going to be until October. So honestly, come on down
for that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for other shows coming.
Yeah. Andrew's show is in July.
In July at Manchester.
And then the big one at the casino.
End of the month. End of July.
End of July. What is that?
I want to say that final weekend of July.
And what's the name of it?
Terrificon. 28th, 29th, and 30th at the Mohegan Sun.
Right. So there you go.
That's the big, mini, huge con.
I've never been to that one.
I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how you haven't wandered over there.
I mean, in my opinion,
it has all the stuff that they have at these shows, just added bigger and guests.
Yeah, I like these shows more. I like the small shows better. Yeah. I don't want to go to a casino for a show, to be honest with you.
It's in the convention center. I don't really have to go into the casino at all, technically.
Yeah. I don't know. Too expensive for my blood. I like this. You get good deals. Parking. It's always free parking. It's a casino. They want you to spend your money inside.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that. I'm very excited for this show. It should be a great one. Tell your friends. Come on down with the family.
Yeah.
You know, Jimmy's is right next door. Get yourself breakfast or lunch.
Yeah.
Get yourself a coffee at Dunkin' and walk right over. There you
Yeah.
go. Perfect day. Perfect day. All right, Mark.
Quite the day.
Oh, we're gonna put that to bed.
Okay.
I'll let you go first. How was your week?
It was good. It was quiet. Didn't have anything really going on. Nice quiet week. Started watching Barry.
Yeah.
Video.
Fantastic show.
Yeah.
I love that show. We're gonna start. We finished Succession and we're gonna get into the last season of Barry. I don't know how far you are in Barry, but
I got through the first season so far.
Yeah.
I try to watch one at night. I'm kind of like, first because they're short, they're only like half an hour. And then
they're perfect.
I'm like, oh, I can do two a night then for half an hour.
They're fantastic show.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler.
Oh,
chef kiss.
Makes the show. Yeah.
And then what's his name? Barry himself.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader. My opinion, Bill Hader, like, give him all the awards. I mean, not only does he act, he helps write, and he directs some great episodes.
Yeah.
So I mean, he does it all.
I was just listening to the episode of Smart List that he was on, and they were talking about the show, and they were asking him like, "Oh, how'd you get into directing the show?" And he's like, "Oh, when we pitched the show, they're like, who should we get to direct the first episode?" And he's like, "I'll do it." And like, okay. And like, he just like left, and like he got a call from the Alec Berg, the guy that helps him produce the show.
Yeah.
He's like, "I just got a call from the studio. Have you ever directed before?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "You think you can do it?" He's like, "I think so. We'll see. If I can, I'll hire someone to do it." And you're like, okay.
There's some great episodes that he directs. But there's my favorite episode. I'm not sure.
I just watched the one I just watched last night was the one with the kung fu guy.
Yes.
His daughter.
Yeah, that's a great episode.
Like, that's hilarious. I was like, what is going on?
That episode's bonkers.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's a standout episode for me.
Yeah.
But
that was when he directed, so that's what.
Yeah. One of the it's interesting. The new season, like we haven't jumped in yet, and we are. But man, like the season prior, I was just like, oh, is this it? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But they surprised me with this one last season, and I'm excited to jump in. But I'm glad you're watching. Barry's a fantastic show.
Yeah, it was one of those shows that's always been around, and I just like never got into watching it. It was just one of those random things, it's like a show you hear about and see, but you never end up watching for some reason.
Like, because there's too much shows.
Yeah. And then there's not that much new content coming out. It's like, oh, I'll watch this now. So that's kind of what's happened. That's pretty the reason why I watched it. I'm like, oh, well, I should probably catch up on this show.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, so did that. Cranked up the grill for the first time this season the other day. It's very exciting. It's always a big day when you grill for the first time.
I can hear the excitement in your voice.
No, I made steaks. It's delicious. But yeah, besides that, nothing else really going on. Pretty quiet. Regular week.
Yeah.
They're paving our parking lot at work, so I've been working from home. So
I potentially will be working from home a lot more for maybe the next month or two, because we're not going to have AC in our wing of the high school. Yeah. So our studio is going to be closed because
by choice or by like remodeling.
They're redoing the AC units.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So the whole wing, everyone's relocating.
Yeah.
We don't have windows.
Public access studio though.
We'll just work from home.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. It's like I just told everybody, like, for a couple weeks we're closed while they tear up and re-put in a parking lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's summertime.
The building open, so
right. It's summertime. It's slow.
Yeah. There's no school. They have no one. Yeah.
Right. So
But tell us the big news. You got big news you got to tell us about.
Well, I mean, okay, so I know I talked about this last week, and our longtime cat, that was my grandma's cat. Prior to that was someone else's cat.
Yeah.
We had to put him down, and it was a tough day for Allison.
Yeah.
It still is. I still get emotional.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have an affinity towards little feline friends. And anyway,
Speaking of little feline friends.
oh, he's sleeping by the window. It's all blurry, but I know he's there. I can
It's
see
just
the
a
little,
cat. You don't really need to see much.
Hey.
Some lazy cat sleeping on the couch.
So that week I get a text from Alice. I'm at work. We're covering the graduation.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You got a minute to talk?" And I'm like, okay. And
Oh boy.
I hop on the phone and I go, "What's up?" And she's like, she's like, "Okay, I know it's very soon, and I know everything happened not that long ago, but would you I saw a listing on Pet Finder. Would you be opposed to getting a kitten?" And I said, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
Like, I know it does feel soon. We're still going through all the emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
That's what I said to Al. And then Allison
Yeah.
says back, she goes, "Okay, good."
Because I already have a cat.
Because it's already in the works.
Sounds familiar.
So, yeah. So I was like, okay. So she's like, "We have a FaceTime interview with the adoption agency on Saturday."
Yeah.
So we clean up the house, which is great.
Yeah.
We do the walkthrough.
Yeah.
We meet the kitten was just born in March and is literally this big.
Yeah.
Super small.
Yeah.
So the woman, she just goes, "Well, he's yours if you want to come on down." So I made the trek on Sunday. It was an hour and a half drive in Connecticut.
Where'd you get her from?
It was in well, we used Pet Finder, and it was I don't know the name of the agency. Warren, Connecticut. We went to Warren, Connecticut. So little guy. He's this big. No joke. His head fits in the palm of my hand. His head's like this big. I bring him home. He's meowing up a storm. He's a cutie. And we make home base our bedroom. So right now I'm sleeping on the couch to be with Fidget because Fidget likes to sleep with me.
Yeah.
And so Allison's sleeping with the new guy. So we're kind of doing this for the week because we have to introduce them slowly, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But man, he's adorable, and you put the smile on our faces, makes you feel good. Fantastic little cat. I decided I'm gonna name him Scoops. And little Scoops. So he's Allison's works from home, so she's working. She's got the cat sleeping next to the keyboard, of course. So she gets to bond a lot with the cat, which is great because I had bonded a lot with Fidget when I worked from home. And she always felt like left out a little bit, and I get that. So
that's how Claire feels with this one.
Yeah.
I was like, you had a dog. The dog was yours. Now I get the cat. So we're switching positions.
Yeah. So
Allison, the next one could be yours.
Yeah, Allison will get the bond more with Scoop. And hopefully, when I walk in the room, all up in me, and even Allison, if she leaves the room, the cat has jumped the gate.
Yeah.
But
sooner or later, it's just gonna
once the cat realizes Fidget's around, it's like, oh, I'm out of here. But they'll
get used to it.
They'll get used to it after time. But right now we have that home base, so it's been a bittersweet week. We lost our buddy, and we gained a little kitten that needed a home. It's a array of emotions. We've had the gambit of sadness and and happiness all wrapped into one.
It's a tough gig, I'm telling you.
But I'm glad. You know what Allison said? I read the description. I saw the picture. I
Yeah.
had to go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy she did.
I had to like force Claire to delete that app from her phone because after we got Mimi, she's been toying with the idea. I'm like, no, one's enough.
She wants to get another
Any
cat.
more cats? Well, yeah, because we have not only do we have this cat, but our neighbor cat, Seamus, who I babysit when she goes away, because she has 3 cats,
Yeah.
literally broke through her screen. And she was worried that he escaped and like ran away.
Yeah.
But he just lives on my deck now. And he won't leave.
Oh, interesting.
I think when Susan was away for like a month, like 2 months ago, for work, I was feeding him every day, and I would hang out over there during the day and like
Yeah.
make sure he was okay and like hang out with the cats and everything. And I'm like, she's like, we're both thinking like we're worried he bonded with me, and now he wants to hang out with me all the time. So he's like, I know he lives next door, so I'm just breaking out and going next door. Like last night, he was just on our deck, and I like had to stay out there for like an hour to like be like, all right, buddy, go over back home again. But then like I went to go to bed at like midnight. I looked out and he's just sitting on our deck, like in front of the window, just like hanging out. So
Well,
yeah.
Well, the cat has a home, right?
Yeah, he just lives next door. So
Oh,
he's
okay.
now like an outdoor cat at night, she says. So I'm like, he doesn't go very far. He just comes over to our house and just sits outside our slider and looks at us.
Feed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look at that. You got yourself a second cat.
Which I don't want a second cat. He's older and he's like, I'm worried, something happened to him. So then like I couldn't fall asleep last night because I was worried he was like alone outside. And like, it's like my cat.
Well, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't leave a cat outside. Not in this
Well,
day and age.
sometimes the cat doesn't want to come in. You can't do anything. Like he'll like attack you if you try to like pick him up and like do anything. Like she was shocked that I was able to pick him up once, and then like I went to pick him up a second time last night, and he's like, "Nope, not having it."
Mm.
And then he like laid down in front of this door. It wouldn't let me get into the house. Every time I tried to go in the door, he would like scratch at me. And he's like, "No, I want you to stay out here with me." Like, I'm not staying out here all night, buddy. I'm going inside.
Some cats
You're
don't
on
like
your own, pal.
being picked up. He likes you, Mark.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, our cat does not like being picked up either.
Yeah,
Not
most cats don't.
Yeah.
Most cats don't.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
Yeah.
I think Pounce was the only cat I've ever known who liked being picked up. And not only being picked up, but crawling as high on your body as humanly possible.
My sister's cat's that way. Mystic. He loves like hanging on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like being held by people.
It just depends. Like if they were handled a lot as a kitten, they're used to it.
Yeah.
But if they were not handled a lot as a kitten, then they're just kind of like, no, that's not my thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Our cat will let me pick her up once in a great while, and then like I'll put her down and she just looks at me like angrily. Like, really? Why?
Yeah, I got legs. I can walk.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know. I don't need you to pick me up. Weirdo.
But
yeah, so that's cat talk for the first part of the show.
Cat talk. What
news we got going on, Brian?
Oh, well, I was gonna say
what else you got going on? Sorry.
The only thing I was gonna say was it's been a crazy week for me with work and whatnot. But the only show I started watching, I mean, we're still watching Angel, which has been fantastic.
Yes.
But we started a show that's been on my radar for a long time. Zach Galifianakis's Baskets.
Oh yeah, that was a good show. I remember that.
So
Elijah
we started
Wood,
that.
right?
Huh?
Was Elijah Wood in that?
Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, which one am I thinking? I'm thinking of the other one.
You're thinking of what's dog? Why can't I think of it?
Yeah. Zach Galifianakis, that's one with Louis Anderson, right?
Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Louis Anderson, I'm so happy he got. I know he won awards for this.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But man, it is a good show. It's quirky, it's weird, it's funny, it's very dramatic at times.
Yeah.
But we are loving it. But you're thinking of Wilford,
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
which was another show I watched last year, and I got Allison hooked into it. That's a fantastic show too. Now it's based on a show of Wilford. For the guy who plays the dog, he created the show. He's from Australia or New Zealand, one of the two. He created it, and then when he brought it to America, Zuckerman, David Zuckerman, I think. He produced it, and the guy who played Wilford, he yet again played the role of the dog, and then he helped write it and produce it. But that show is fantastic. But Zach, Baskets has been on my radar for a while. We just watched Legit with Jim Jeffers. We're kind of going through all the old FX shows.
Old FX shows, yeah.
Legit was really good. It's a shame it only went 2 seasons. But DJ Qualls, is it DJ Qualls? DJ Qualls, fantastic. Jim Jeffers, fantastic. But yeah, we're in Baskets. Louis Anderson, man, I know Louis died, I think last year or the year before. But man, I think he got a really fantastic role. But yeah, it's crazy because we're watching the show and because he plays a woman. He plays Zach's mom, and you're like, you just kind of go with it, and you like, holy crap, he is just so good. And I listened to an interview, and Louis Anderson basically said that when he playing that role, he went back and he used his own mom. He channeled his mom. His mom had passed away, but he channeled her, and he said that the role allowed him to understand his mom more. And like, I think it's crazy, but man, he is amazing.
And that show Bear is like coming out like soon, second season.
I have to watch the first season of Bear. Yeah,
you would love it. It's like,
it's on my list.
It's all about restaurants and everything.
I don't know.
It's a huge show.
Once I finish one show, that's on my list on Hulu. It's on my stuff. Once I finish Baskets, I'll probably hop into that. I like these shows that are like 10 episodes, 8 episodes. You know, you get through it in a month or a couple weeks, whatever.
Second season's about to start, I think, next week.
Nice.
The day after your birthday, I think.
Yeah, and so does Secret Invasion?
Yes.
June 21st.
Yeah, that's on your birthday, I think.
Yeah. Now I haven't watched anything new because I just want to go into the show surprise. But I mean, we haven't had a Marvel show in a while, which is nice.
Yes.
I think that slowing it down some has been very good. But yeah, I'm getting kind of pumped for it. I'm looking forward to seeing what the show has to offer, and I like the fact that they're saying it's going to be more in line with a Winter Soldier sort of thing. It's more grounded,
like that kind of.
I don't, like
spy thriller kind of thing.
I hope it's really good. I'm looking forward to it a lot because like I said, I'm a legacy character when it comes to the MCU. Give me legacy characters, I'm very excited. Well,
you're getting the biggest legacy one you got. Man, he started the whole thing.
I know. This is very exciting. So news, Marcus. Summer of Games kicked off this past weekend. But
not even games that are coming out this year though. They're like, these are like, I saw like that first one, the Star Wars one, comes out next year.
Oh yeah, but there's so many games coming out this year and next year. It's unbelievable. Especially October, September and October this year. Tons of great games are coming out. But the most notable that I will talk about because you're a Star Wars fan, so am I, is Star Wars Outlaws. And we got a teaser trailer, then we got gameplay trailer during the Xbox showcase, and then they showed more during the Ubisoft showcase. And I think I'm waiting for the last Star Wars games to go on sale to pick up the second part of
Last
the
Survivor.
Jedi. And I heard great things about that. But this game looks fantastic. It's open world. You're an outlaw. You're a smuggler.
And it takes place between Empire and Jedi.
Right. So. And they when you watch the gameplay footage, they're bringing in things from all sorts. Like there's a lot of, they're playing that card game from Solo. They're dealing with, they're dealing with different things that you've seen in different movies.
Yeah, I think that's that's an area of Star Wars, which I think is that this game is hitting into a sweet spot where I think more things could go into, like more stories could happen. It's like, it seems like we don't get, like, I know there's a lot of prequel stuff and they're doing the High Republic from like way back when, and Mando takes place after the end of Return of the Jedi, and the sequels took place 30 years afterwards. But I think there's a lot of meat on the bone, so to speak, with the original trilogy, that people could do more stories from that time frame and delve into that, like other stories going on while that big story is happening.
Yeah, and this is a new character,
Yeah.
New worlds. I think it's fantastic that you can be in a gunfight, hop
Yeah.
on your speeder. It's like Grand Theft Auto. You can hop
Yeah.
on your speeder, take off. Also, there's a slow down mechanic. So, like when you're on your speeder, you can slow everything down. You can target, and then you'll shoot, just like Red Dead Redemption a little bit. Also, you can hop in a ship and go into space.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of like everything I've always wanted in a Star Wars game. The fact that, I mean, you could do that in the Jedi Survivor.
Well, you said it yourself, Grand Theft Auto in space. It's like in Star Wars. Like, who wouldn't want that game?
Yeah, right. And you get to be an outlaw.
Yeah.
And you get this cute little creature with you.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a lot of fun. The CG trailers look great, but the gameplay looks really good. Comes out next year. Ubisoft makes good games. I mean, even though some games aren't for me, they still have their quality generally. So I feel like it could be really good. Like the they make the Assassin's Creed games. Mirage.
Assassin's Creed.
Their Mirage is bringing it back to the old Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 feel. Oof. It's more tight. It's not a huge open world. It's a smaller scale.
Yeah.
I'm excited by that, honestly. As I'm getting older, I just like short stories. Yeah, if I can beat it under 20 hours, I'm very happy.
Assassin's Creed, like I was saying to you before the show started, got, like, I think too far off the rails for me with the story stuff. And it relied too much on in Animus and not outside Animus storytelling, which I think was the enjoyment of the first one. That you're basically playing two games at once. You're playing like the story inside the Animus, and then you would be taken out of the Animus and you'd play that story outside of the main character, dealing, like, being kidnapped and all that stuff, and the being forced to go into the machine and everything, and that company, and the rebels trying to break into the place to save him and all that stuff. So that was like the thing I really liked about the first ones. And then like it just got more and more crazy, and I didn't deal with it.
So, like, for me, my first Assassin's Creed game was the Black Flag, which I absolutely loved. Then
Desmond. That's the guy's name.
Yeah, Desmond. Then I went back and played 1, 2, 3 Chronicle. I played all those. And I played Valhalla, which Valhalla was really awesome. And the only thing I didn't like, it just went on forever. I finished it, but come to find out there's some DLC that ends the story arc for that character.
Yeah.
So I do want to play it because I like to see it end. I mean, but there've always been beautiful games. They're a lot of fun, big open worlds, but I like the idea of going back to a smaller scale story. a story you can beat under 30 hours, a small, that kind of thing. I feel like is good because they can't all be these big bloated things. You get burnt out after a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, Assassin's Creed Mirage, but they have other Assassin's Creed games coming out. They have a VR game. They have other things in the works. They're kind of doubling down. I mean, they at one point you're getting Assassin's Creed game like every year.
Yeah.
They kind of stopped and slowed things down. It's like every 2 to 3 years you'll get a new Assassin's Creed game. And actually Valhalla, because the DLCs were so big, it's been a couple years. I think 2020, either 2020 or 2021 was the last big Assassin's Creed game. I want to say it was the end of
2022 was the last one. September 2022.
What was that one?
Uh,
No, Valhalla was the big mainline one,
Yeah.
and then they put out DLCs for it. So I think one came out in
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
I think that could have been Ragnarok, like a Ragnarokish kind
As of September 2022, it has become Ubisoft's best-selling franchise and one of the highest-selling video game franchises of all time, with over 200 million copies through all the different iterations of the game.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah, the first one came out in 2007. Original Assassin's Creed was on the PlayStation 3 and the 360. And then 2009 for 2, 2010 for Brotherhood.
Yeah, brother. I
2011
played
for Revelations, 2012 for Assassin's Creed 3, then Black Flag, Rogue, and Unity came out in 2014.
Right.
Syndicate, Creed Origins, Creed Odyssey, Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, Valhalla
was in 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out this year.
All right. Yep.
There were spin-offs, Altair's Chronicles in 2008, Bloodlines and Discovery in 2009, Project Legacy in 2010, multiplayer Rearmed and Recollection in 2011, Liberation in 2012, Pirates in 2013. Yeah, so there's a lot of different randomness.
Yes. Like they're just listing off every film.
It's crazy. But as I was saying, it's just like I was all on board with the game and was playing it and loving it until Black Flag. And we've had this discussion before in the show. I didn't want to be piloting a boat for multiple hours on end.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was an awesome game. It was my first Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah. See, I played the other ones, and I think that's the difference. I played the other ones, and I was into that side of the story.
Yeah.
Then when you just hopped in on that one, you were like, the boats, they're cool.
Yeah, they were awesome. But let me give you information on Mirage. The game takes place in 19th century Baghdad and will follow Basim in a tragic coming-of-age story. The game launches October 12th.
Okay.
Then we have Assassin's Creed Nexus, features the return of classic assassins, and this is a VR game. It will feature 3-pronged story starring a trio of returning characters: Ezio, Cassandra from Odyssey, and AC3's Connor.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was the Native American?
Yes. Yep, that was a great one.
Yeah. So that's going to be
Ezio Auditore was the first two.
Yeah. That's going to come out on Meta Quest 2. And then Assassin's Creed Codename Jade lets you fully customize your assassin. Codename Jade is upcoming Assassin's Creed mobile game. It's mobile.
We'll be playing that.
I won't be playing that. Yeah. Anyway, so those are the 3 Assassin's Creed games coming out.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I would love to play the VR one, but I can't play VRs, so
Well, there you go.
I can't see them because I have a eye issue.
And then obviously Star Wars Outlaws will be coming out next year, which is very exciting.
Yes.
Um, I am excited to check this game out. It's coming out December 7th. Is the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. It looks very Far Cry-esque.
Which is on the Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to rewatch it.
The Way of Water.
I like that movie a lot.
I don't have 3 hours to spend.
Okay. Nobody's asked me. Don't watch it.
I didn't know it was that long. I looked at it like 3 hours. God.
Dude, we've been to movies that are just as
Ooh.
long.
But I wanted to see those. That's the difference.
Well, then don't watch it.
No, I just wasn't expecting it to. I was like, maybe I'll watch this and see what Brian's been excited about. I was like, I don't have 3 hours to spend right now.
Well, then
I'll find another time when I have 3 hours to kill.
Well, then don't worry about it.
I'm not. I'm just telling you.
All right. So that's.
About that. Gee.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, it is a long movie, but we've seen movies just as long. I mean, I like seeing those movies in the theater. The experience is better, but it is a movie I want to watch again.
Yeah.
But and then over the weekend, Spider-Man was dethroned by the Transformers as the number one movie.
Optimus Prime. Autobots roll out.
And
I'm tempted to go see it.
Well,
but I have to find time to go see it. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, go see it, Mark.
Well, I know. I just like have to find the time because we got Flash Thursday and I got a busy weekend.
So it's 11 o'clock now. Yeah, we're seeing the Flash this Thursday. I'm getting pumped. I mean, the all the reviews so far have been good. All the people that I watch on YouTube have all pretty much said the same thing. They all said it's not the best superhero movie of all time, like we were told, but it's really good.
Yeah.
But they all say the performances are really good. It's a great story. It's got heart.
Yeah.
It's humorous when it needs to be. And Michael Keaton's really great. And yeah, I'm just excited. And the actress who plays Supergirl is fantastic as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I am very pumped.
I saw
Thursday.
I saw a great interview on YouTube with Michael Shannon. I think it was a Vanity Fair interview or something that they did.
Yeah,
they were talking to him about the movie and all that, and they asked him about like how he got involved and all that stuff, and he's like, yeah, you know, I did Man of Steel and it was great and I enjoyed it and it was awesome. He's like, it took us 6 months and I had to like do a bunch of stuff to get fit enough to be in the costume and everything and all that stuff. And then I get a phone call and they're like, hey, we'd like you to come back and play Zod again. And he's like, you guys saw that movie, right? That I was in? Zod's dead. he's like, how are you gonna bring him back? Superman crushed my skull. And they're like, no, it's like a multiverse thing. And he's like, well, I guess he's like, I'm really good friends with Zach. And I really didn't like how he got treated during Justice League and how that whole thing went down. So he's like, I had to go talk to Zach first and see if like get his blessing before I would say yes to being in it. So he talks about how he went and talked to Zach and everything and was like very nervous about it. And then like Zach's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, why would I tell you not to do a movie? It's like, I don't care. Go ahead. And he was like, okay. And he was like, yeah. So I was like all like thinking about it. I was like dreading that I would before I even like said yes. I was like, I was worried. Do I want to go back through doing the physical like stuff again and getting, 6 months of training and all this stuff. And then like like he called him back and said he was thinking about it and he was close to it. They asked about wanting to have some questions. They're like, no. He's like, you just have to show up for like 4 or 5 days, and we're just gonna like just do your face, but we'll superimpose you. It's all be CG.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, then hell yeah, I'll be there. He's like, oh man. He said it was such a. After that, it was like so much different, so like much easier to do it this time around than it was last time. He's like, I didn't even have to even be there. He's like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like last time I had to like buff up and get into the suit and everything. And he was like, he was like, I'm kind of like, you kind of like see it in his voice. Like, I wonder if he's like aggravated with Zach now to be like, hey, Zach, now.
Well, technology was a lot
Yeah,
different
I
back
know.
then.
Yeah. But it was just funny. But it was kind of like, oh man. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
Michael Shannon's back as Zod, but that's in the trailer. So no big secret there. But
yeah. And we'll be back next week to talk about our review.
yeah. I mean, what do you like?
Record on Monday, right?
I believe so.
I have Monday off.
I thought about that. Okay. Okay. Cool.
We could do it Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. Anyways, with this coming out, this is like we've talked about it before, but this is like the end of the old DCU and the launching of the new whatever it's going to be
They
called,
still have Aquaman 2 to come out.
which makes no sense to me.
It was already in the can. It's already scheduled, so it's coming out. These movies cost money to make, Mark, so they have to get their investments back.
I mean, you say that, but they scrapped the whole Batgirl movie
because they said it was bad.
Well,
and it was a write-off.
Have they seen the rest of the DC movies?
Yeah, but I mean, they can make the money, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, Mark.
They could have put out a Batgirl movie and made back the money that basically.
Well, it wasn't finished, so I think they just wrote it off. But Aquaman.
Well, they had like I saw an interview with we talked about this before too. Brandon Fraser was on Howard Stern and he asked him about it. He was like,
"Listen,
there was a good movie there. Just they didn't give it a chance to make us
right
a good movie together."
And that's his opinion.
Yeah,
that's his opinion. I'm not going to base my opinion off of it. His opinion was he saw the raw footage and he said there was a good movie there, but they never gave it the time to caress it like all the other movies.
Yeah.
And maybe they just felt it was not, they just could not, they didn't have the time or the resources to do that. I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I understand that process, but that Aquaman 2 and The Flash were in the can, ready to go out. COVID happened. So these movies have been sitting on the shelf for a while, where Batgirl was something that just finished shooting and they were like, this is not good. So I don't know. You know,
it's like an ultimate loss though, because they didn't they spent the money to get it filmed and everything. It was already spent, so it wasn't like they had to. Discovery didn't have to pay any more than just do reshoots and editing. So that's the thing that seems very strange about it. But who knows? Maybe one day someone will scratch off the dust off it, like Kevin Smith's doing with. I don't know if you heard about this. Kevin Smith has gotten his hands on the Batman Forever Schumacher cut. The Joel Schumacher cut. That's different than the actual movie was.
From Batman. There's just additional scenes.
Well, I guess there was, like kind of along the lines of the Zack Snyder cut. It was a cut that Joel Schumacher had done, and then the studio made him cut parts out to make it more
less bad.
Yes, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I just Googled it and first thing came up. All right. Here we go. Screen rant. I will go there. Here we go. Batman Forever's 170-minute Schumacher cut.
Yes.
9 known cuts and changes. Oh, wow. Okay. So.
Yeah. Kevin Smith's doing a whole Kevin Smith has confirmed that the Batman Forever Schumacher cut contains a significant amount of unseen footage, including a 15-minute alternate opening scene. On his podcast, Batman Beyond, Smith revealed that he had obtained a copy of the director's extended version of the 1995 film Batman Forever. Smith didn't delve into extensive details. He mentioned that he had already watched the cut, which features a delayed opening sequence compared to the theatrical release. He plans to review the film on an upcoming episode of his podcast.
Wow. I mean, yeah, it says the Two-Face robbing the bank. It doesn't happen for like 15 minutes in the original cut.
Yeah.
He says Smith also added the copy he owns is a crazy good one with the score and everything. So there's the score and all that stuff. I mean, okay. See, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and then
Batman and Robin.
Batman Robin was the worst.
Yes.
Batman Forever, I mean, I saw all those growing up in the theaters.
Yeah.
And Batman Forever, as a young person, when that movie dropped, I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed it. I mean, I know it's not good, but I liked it as a young teenager. I love the soundtrack. I own the soundtrack. You know, "Kiss from the Rose" was the huge song.
Yeah.
That came from that movie. That's when soundtracks were like very popular. And like Val Kilmer was a good Batman. I was a huge Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah.
So him as a Riddler was fantastic. And then, you know, Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face, you know, I didn't really know Tommy Lee Jones from much of anything at that time. I
US
think
Marshals, I think, was like the only thing I've seen him in before that.
Oh, and wasn't he The Fugitive? I knew him from The Fugitive. But anyway, I mean, it was a fun movie as a kid. I liked it, but when we got to Batman and Robin, even I, who saw that in the theater, I was just kind of like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So I think out of those two, I think Forever is my favorite out of those last two, where Batman Returns is my favorite out of the first two. But yeah, I'm interested. I hope maybe Kevin Smith will go on tour with it, because I would definitely go.
I mean, I think Warner Brothers would have to approve that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
The other article I found has Marc Bernardin is the first writer and podcaster that first reported a 170-minute cut of the movie existing.
Yeah, he's his partner on Batman.
Yeah, his intel suggested that Warner Brothers never made a move toward releasing it because they weren't sure whether there was a market for a longer, darker version. He elaborated, saying that the 170-minute version went much deeper into his childhood psychosis and his mental blocks, and that it was a more serious, darker version of that movie that was one of the first assemblies that Joel filed with the studio, and they eventually cut it down because they were like, it's too dark for kids. We got to sell these Happy Meals, so maybe let's not invest ourselves in the trauma of childhood murder. We've got Jim Carrey. Let him do some stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and, I mean, Batman Returns was actually a very dark movie, and that was on Happy Meals.
Yeah.
And even
the original Batman was. I remember.
Yeah. I mean, they both kind of were dark, but 2 was extremely dark, and they got a lot of backlash from parents.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of dark for kids.
I mean, it's a dark character. I don't know why people. I know that the 60s show.
Yeah.
The 60s show was different, but
don't forget
comic book Batman. And if you actually read the origin of Batman, it's a very dark story. His parents are murdered in front of him.
But live action was Adam West. So then you go from Adam West in the very first film Batman movie. That's not Adam West. It's Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
And Tim Burton. And you're kind of thinking, well, Tim Burton's done all these crazy, quirky movies.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dark, but Batman Returns is pretty dark.
Yeah.
I mean, when the penguin dies was pretty gross.
The penguins pick him up and carry him into
and then he just floats and like his bloated body and even Catwoman. There's
Yeah.
just so many.
Joker falling from the skyscraper or the church.
The church.
It's very Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's back in the day when they were like, we must kill all the villains. We can't let villains live anymore. I don't know why. I hated that because it was just kind of like,
well, because they only had one movie contract, so it's like they don't want to like have to pay them more money the next time. So if we kill them all, there's no chance of us having to redo a contract and pay them more next time.
But I'm so happy we don't do that now. We let some villains can continue.
Some villains, yeah, some villains. Some still get obliterated.
Yeah, if it's a nobody. But I mean, can you imagine if they killed Loki in the MCU? If they killed
Red Skull in the first movie, the first Captain America.
But he's come back.
But not really.
But imagine if they killed Loki. I mean, he was one of the big villains in Avengers.
There was a point where he had auditioned to be Thor.
Well, we know that would not have been good. But I'm just saying,
he wasn't even planning on being Loki.
But still, I mean, I think they've learned you can keep some good villains because people like villains.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to see this cut. Maybe Kevin Smith is getting this rolling, so Warner Brothers are like, "Hey, we'll put this on HBO Max."
Well, he's had a connection with Warner Brothers for a while. Like he wrote a script for Superman at one point.
Yes.
And he also wrote a script for a Green Lantern movie at one point.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah.
So he's been involved with the DC stuff for a while. So
yeah, I mean,
some comics and he's done some other stuff.
I think if we get they get a lot of push on social media. That'd be great that if they can release this cut. I would definitely check it.
Yeah, yeah. And as always, we'll end the show off with, as the usual, be safe, be well, be kind.
And rewind, and we'll talk about the Flash next week.
We will. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.